forget that you can catch all the WWE action on your World of Champions SuperSport. NXT every single Thursday live at 2 a.m. and, of course, a primetime repeat at 2 p.m. Hello, Adam. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm super. Now, before we get to all the fan questions for this evening, a big one for you, that NXT Great American Bash against Keith Lee. How are you feeling? Of course, because 2 titles.
Yeah, so without question, I have had a lot of big, high-profile, high-stress matches. Not only since I've become NXT champion, but since I've joined NXT as a whole. But this one, without question, is the biggest match of probably my career. I mean, because again, not only is the NXT championship on the line, but the NXT North American championship is on the line as well. So somebody is going to walk away as the first ever double champion with the North American championship and the NXT championship. Not the first ever double champion in NXT history. That one belongs to me, because at one point I was North American champion and tag team champion. But to hold both of those titles, it's huge. So I got a lot of butterflies today.
All right, let's get to those questions that the fans asked during the week on social media. First up, Sandra asks, how did you celebrate your birthday recently? I also saw Keith Lee also wished you happy birthday.
Oh, yeah, that was nice of Mr. Keith Lee to send me a little birthday message. Fortunately, on my birthday, I got to spend some time with some family, which was always one of the most important things in the world to me. So getting to see them and spend time with them was amazing, considering it's quite some time with everything going on in the world that I've gotten to see them or spend time with them. So to be able to catch up with them, see how they're doing, has been there. It was, in the sense of activities, it was rather boring, but it was really, really important and special to me that I got to spend that so important time with people that I love and care about.
Well, happy belated birthday from SuperSport.
Thank you.
Lily and Lexi also ask, what does it feel like to be the longest reigning NXT champion? And what's your next milestone?
So it's incredibly humbling and rewarding to be the guy who not only has been NXT champion, because when you look at the list of people who have been NXT champion, I mean, the list is an impressive one. It's some of the very best wrestlers in the entire world who have been NXT champion. So for me to be a guy who's added to that list is amazing. But not only that, I'm the guy who's been the longest reigning NXT champion. So it's just it's wild. It's been a lot of pressure, not just that's been put on me, but that I put on myself. Because when you're the champion, you're the guy who carries the brand. You're the flag bearer. You're the guy leading the charge. However, to be the guy, especially at such an important transitional period of NXT, going live on television every single week and things like that, to be the guy at the forefront of that, again, is really, really cool. Just to know that I'm a guy that put on is more important to me than anything else. As far as the next milestone, it's quite simple. I want to be the guy who holds the NXT championship and the NXT North American championship same time, and then maybe I'll hold the NXT North American championship for 400 days. That's my goal. That's my next milestone.
There seems to be just a bit of a lag, but we're getting exactly what you're saying there, Adam. Let's try and get through the rest of the questions that the fans have sent throughout the week. And ask, who has your toughest NXT championship match been against?
Ooh, tough one. I would say the hardest championship match I've had was against Pete Dunne at Survivor Series. Not only because Pete Dunne is an incredibly talented wrestler. He's one of the best that NXT has to offer, one of the best that WWE has to offer. But less than 24 hours before, I was in a brutal 50-minute War Games match where I got thrown off the top of a cage and just was incredibly battered and bruised. And then again, less than 24 hours later, I had to defend against Pete Dunne. So that one was really challenging, considering how banged up I was going into that match. But of course, I walked away still NXT champion.
Listen to that championship talk. James asks, what's your favorite thing about NXT?
What's my favorite thing about what? I'm sorry?
NXT.
Oh, for me, it's got to be the fans. it's got to be the fans, because so many of us in the locker room share this incredible passion for pro wrestling and everything that it is and everything that it stands for. And those fans, which we miss so much, when they show up to the shows, they are there to have a great time. They know they're going to see a really exciting show, and they give us that energy. I know people have said this before, but the NXT fans are just as much a part of the show as the wrestlers are. So their support, their love, their excitement, their passion, to me, is really a big reason that NXT is where it's at today. So I'd say the fans, the NXT fans are just the best in the world. They're the best.
Well, they certainly seem to be engaging right here on this Instagram Live, also sending you a lot of love right now. Lee Champions is, who's your dream main roster opponent?
So my choice would probably be, I've wrestled him before, just never in WWE. I think Adam Cole versus AJ Styles would be a match that I really, really want. I know a lot of fans have clamored for that match as well. Again, we wrestled years ago, and we had really exciting competitive matchups. And I feel like now I've grown so much as a performer. AJ Styles is still one of the very best in the entire world. So I'd say me versus AJ Styles. That's my pick.
I'm already salivating over that one. Amin asks, what's the story behind the Panama City Playboy?
Yes. So the Panama City Playboy, that was a moniker that I developed very early on in my career. So when I was wrestling on the independents, it was a company called CZW where I started, which was in Philadelphia. And as I was developing this bad boy persona, I felt like I needed a moniker. And at the time, which I still am, I billed from Panama City, Florida. So I thought, what could I do? I had done stuff with palm trees before. So the Panama City Playboy just kind of started from the entrance gear that I wore. I used to wear aviator sunglasses. I had a little bit shorter hair. I would come out with a spray bottle and spray myself, like just a boy toy style character. So I thought, Panama City Playboy, that fits. Which, the funniest thing is I, for the longest time, in the middle of my career, stopped calling myself the Panama City Playboy, but it's kind of made its way back, considering Morrow has said many times on NXT television, is the Panama City Playboy. So I love that it's kind of made its way full circle and ended up coming back. So I don't know how much of a Playboy I am now, but I love that the moniker has made it.
We'd probably like to see those aviators come back as well. Brandon asks, you're part of the Undisputed Era, but which stable in WWE history has been your favorite and why?
I'm sorry, what favorite moment did you say?
Which stable in WWE history has been your favorite?
Oh, man. My favorite stable. That's a really good question.
From Brandon?
There's so many that come to mind. But D-Generation X was a really favorite stable of mine. I loved Evolution. They weren't in WWE, so I don't want to name groups. I'm gonna stick with D-Generation X. I remember thinking they were just so cool, and some people have even said that the Undisputed Era and DX show some similarities, and there's a reason for that, because all X fans. So D-Generation X, that's my similarities. Yeah.
All right. Another question. You've cited Shawn Michaels as your inspiration. What made him so great in your eyes? And this question comes from Mo.
Oh, awesome. That's a great question. To me, what made him so great was that Shawn Michaels was really, really, really good at literally everything. He was an amazing good guy. He was a despicable bad guy. He could have the most exciting matches with anybody on the roster. His matches were different. He could talk. He had just this charisma about him, this exciting in-ring entrance. Shawn Michaels could do it all. So to me, as a fan, Shawn Michaels was a guy that I could always count on. I knew when he was on the card, he 99.9% of the time was going to be the show stealer. He was going to be the guy that had the best match. So that's the biggest reason I loved and adored Shawn Michaels so much, just because of how unbelievably talented he was at everything and how consistent he was.
Yeah, no, he really was. Also one of my faves. So
Yeah,
something in common there. A
great.
couple of questions left to go. Elijah asks, who are some of the legends that have helped you develop at Performance Center?
Okay. So, not to repeat it, but Shawn Michaels obviously has been a huge influence and a huge help with me. He's a guy that has taken so much time and effort into mentoring so many of us. That the amount of effort that he put in to be a great pro wrestler, he put the same amount of effort into being an amazing mentor. So he has been so helpful. Steve Carino is another one
Yeah.
that helps me even way before I ended up at the WWE Performance Center, ended up in WWE. Steve Carino was a guy that kind of took me under his wing and helped me a lot. And so many of them, you know, have helped in their own ways. Terry Taylor has been helpful. Matt Bloom, all the coaches there have their expertise, have the things that they're really great at. But the one thing they all share in common is they want to make sure that everybody is the best them that they can be. So I've
Yeah.
been very lucky to work alongside or under a lot of them, and they've all helped me in their own way.
Hashtag blessed. And then the
Yeah.
final, the final question coming through is from Sophia. And what's the funniest thing you've ever seen happen backstage?
Ooh, funniest thing I've ever seen happen backstage. Great question. Um, so there was a okay, it's kind of silly now when you think about it. Because I assume this is I'll keep it WWE related because there's stories on the independents that are really funny as well. But I remember, unfortunately, and this part is not funny, but I remember Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish were in a tag team match, and Bobby Fish unfortunately got hurt, and he wasn't able to continue the match. So, but we were on live television, so we had no choice but to continue. And Roderick Strong was there eating this giant plate of chicken and rice and vegetables, just minding his own business. And last minute, they came up to him and they said, "Hey, you got to go out and do this match. This is live television." He's in jeans and sneakers and a t-shirt,
Goodness.
not dressed to compete, not ready to go. And the look on his face when he found out, when he had a mouthful of food, now we look back at it, it's really funny. But the shocked look on his face of just such surprise and utter despair was, now we laugh about it so much. So to me, again, at the time, it was very stressful. But now
Yeah.
looking back on it, my God, so funny. And that's pro wrestling. That's live television for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All those
Yeah.
last minute bloopers, and of course, live television as well. There was a question that came through here on Instagram as well, and we're asking about tonight's match. Do you think you'll win against Keith Lee? Of
Yes.
course.
Yeah. I'm confident. I've said this before. I said this in leading up to me and Keith star making performance after star making performance. Obviously, he's the North American champion. He's one of the best.
Yeah.
But I've said this before though too. As exciting as Keith Lee has been, whether that be at Survivor Series, at the Royal Rumble, Keith Lee does not win big matches. Adam Cole wins big matches, and that's been that way for over a year now. So again, Keith is going to bring the fight. I know he's going to. I'm not going to pretend that this is going to be a cakewalk or this is going to be easy. I know I'm going to be in for the fight of my life. But when the chips are down and everything's on the line, Adam Cole is a winner and Keith Lee is a loser. So you're looking at the double champion right now.
Oh, I love that. You know, just like the moniker of the Panama Playboy, I'm going to take that moniker as my own. Adam
You
Cole is
should.
a winner. I'm going to start using it. Thato Moeng is a winner. Adam, finally, a word to all your fans across the continent, across the world, who've been watching you and have been always excited, especially ahead of tonight's match.
It is it's incredible. I know I've used this word, so I don't mean to overuse it, but humbling, to say the least, is what immediately comes to mind. I think it is so surreal and so cool. My favorite part of pro wrestling, aside from even the performance, is getting to
Yeah.
travel to all these different places and meet people from all over the world, all walks of life,
Yeah.
and to hear the different stories and how important I've been in whatever way, shape, or form it has been to their lives is so, so cool. Getting to meet fans who feel like they've gotten to know me over the years, whether that be fans who have followed me for my entire 12-year career, or they just recently started following me. When I meet them and they share their stories and they're excited to meet me, I want them to know I am just as excited to meet them. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. So I would be nowhere without the fans. And that's not just a cute thing to say. It's the truth. It really, really is. I would not be where I am today if fans from all over the world did not see something in me or believe in me or support me. So thank you doesn't even do it justice, but I really do want them to know that from the bottom of my heart, thank you for all the love. Thank you for all the support. And I promise you, it's the feeling is mutual. I'll put it that way.
Well, Adam, they certainly enjoyed today because they sent through all those questions. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat to us at SuperSport TV. Good luck, not that you need it, but we certainly will be watching with beaded eyes.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Well, that was our chat with Adam Cole. Do remember that NXT is going to be on every single Thursday live at 2 a.m. And of course, again, repeat prime time at 2 p.m. on your World of Champions SuperSport. Don't forget to go through to the WWE channel. Thank you so much for joining us. We apologize for that lag. But of course, next week, same time again, right here on SuperSport TV's Instagram channel.